So this is Rabi-Ribi, puzzle number 8, which I made a couple days ago. Yo. So yeah, I guess I'll start by talking through the card, and then we'll get to it. The goal here is to complete any three of the 5 boxes here, and each of them has a goal and a restriction. Well, on the top here says obtain at least 3 items with carrot in their name. There are 6. Carrot bombs, carrot shooter, super carrot, carrot boost, which is the badge, book of carrot, which you can buy in the shop, and the gold carrot, which is a consumable. And the restriction there is do not visit town after Sassini warps you to Golden Riverbank, and side chapter counts as a visit to town. Side chapter is triggered by obtaining 6 town members. Sassini will warp you to Golden Riverbank after you have recruited Sassini, and once you've cleared chapter 1, which requires only 2 town members. So basically what that means is you can't advance the story at any point after... Well, you can't advance the story the normal way after going to Golden Riverbank via Sassini, which is kind of restrictive because Laboratory, which Sassini is asking you to go to, has like a second tier to it, which is the system interior. And in order to get into there, you have to go back to town, normally. There are other ways in there, which we'll talk about in a bit. So that's the first box. It's kind of probably the longest-winded one. Go to the right here. Visit the system interior is the goal, and so that's the place that's inside of lab. Playing through the game normally, that would conflict very directly with the previous restriction. In fact, at the end of lab, when you talk to Sassini, who asks you to go there, she'll warp you back to town, so you can't even finish lab normally once if you're doing this first restriction. So yeah. Second restriction is recruit no town members after recruiting Sassini, and Sassini can only be recruited during chapter 2. It's a bit of a weird one, but that's what it is. What that means is that well, among other things, town is, if you're going to be going to chapter 3, and you're pairing that with the previous goal, you're like really locked in, because these restrictions don't actually require that you recruit Sassini. It's just like, if you recruit Sassini, then here are the side effects and things you can't do. So between the two of those, you could just refuse to recruit Sassini, and then, you know, you would satisfy those restrictions, and maybe you'd have an easy time. Maybe not. Probably not, because you can't get to lab, but maybe. Okay, so the next one is recruit Nixie and Nieve in the other order. So you recruit them at the same time. That's pretty straightforward. They are the bears. They play bounce bounce. It's in the Northern Tundra area. One of the main things going on there kind of goes with some of the other restrictions, but in order to get over to Aurora Palace, which is where Nieve is, you have to either be able to go through Aquarium or go all the way around the world the other direction. In order to go through Aquarium, you would need the fire orb, or explosives via beach. In order to get the fire orb, you need explosives. So basically, you need explosives, or you need to go all the way around the world. Going all the way around the world is normally fine, but some of these other restrictions might make that hard. Oh yes, of course you could also do slide. That would be the normal way, actually. I'm kind of discounting that because it's really hard to get it's really hard to get slide in this puzzle, but depending on what you do. The restriction there is never fight Coco and fight at most one Ashery. That has various implications. Never fighting Coco means you never get carrot bombs, which are the explosives. So that actually means, even with what we just said, that you're gonna have to go around the world, or I guess slide. But either way, you kind of have to go around the world because slide is on the other side of the world. More or less. There are two main Ashery fights. One of them is on Beach, and one of them is in Golden Riverbank. Going through the one in Golden Riverbank is what you need to do to quote-unquote go around the world, as I keep saying. And Beach one is fairly easily skipped by doing the glitch we call Beach Skip. However, she still kind of gets in the way in the other direction, because that means you can't go backwards through Beach if you don't want to fight that one. There are one more instance of both of these guys, which is in Forgotten Cave 2, and they're pretty close to the start of Forgotten Cave 2. We'll get back to that in a moment. So the next goal is defeat 4 different Ritas, which this is probably the biggest mistake on my part in this puzzle. There are at least 4 different Ritas. Normally you would fight Rita in Azure Snowland, just recruit her as a normal town member. Later on you fight her as a shadow up in Icy Summit after clearing Chapter 1. And again in Forgotten Cave 2 there is a Rita fight. And finally, in Side Chapter, you fight 3 town members, which I actually don't remember which ones they are. I think it's like 2, 3, and 5 or something. I'm making numbers up. And given the fact that I don't know which they are, you probably can already figure out this is actually not one of the goals that you need to do, but Side Chapter it would be another Rita. What I neglected was that in Hall of Memories, there's like basically a enemy version copy of every single boss in the game, pretty much. I don't think KK's there, but whatever. And that probably should count as per the way this is worded, since it's pretty open. So that was my mistake. Defeating the Rita in Hall of Memories would open this puzzle up to a few different solutions probably. But there's still cool solutions, so you know, whatever, go for it. Okay, the restriction there is never use a springboard, which is pretty straightforward, except that actually it's ridiculously restrictive. The biggest offender, I guess, is that at the very beginning, the game, when you try and go up to Cocoa, you can't because there's a springboard that you need to jump up to get to her. And that also means you can't get to Golden Riverbank through the normal entrance. You would need to get warped there by Sassini, or go all the way around the world. But again, going all the way around the world would require explosives or slide. And you can't get explosives because you can't fight Cocoa, and you can't get slide because you can't get to Riverbank without warping there with Sassini. So the only way would be to warp there with Sassini. Which conflicts with some of these other things, potentially. Also, you need to use a springboard to get to Pandora without some movement items. You need to use a springboard to get to Lilith without some movement items. You need to use a springboard to get up Aurora Palace without a bunch of movement items, which is the previous goal. Nieve and Nixie needs that springboard. Actually, that's probably the biggest one. You need air jump, and you need leveled up wall jump to make that jump, as far as I know. At least that's what the rando constraints say. Yes, and you do need a springboard to get up the volcano. You can make that jump with a bunny whirl bounce, and then you can make the second jump with like a wimpy amulet climb kind of deal. It is possible to get around that without too many movement items, but again, Whirl is in Riverbank, so... Basically, there's a lot of springboards, and you probably forget about them when you're just kind of like thinking about this. There's also springboards in Plurkwood, for example, so Keke is not easy to get. There's a springboard to get up to Araune. Basically, all told, is by my count, without warping to Golden Riverbank via Sassini, there are only 5 town members that you can get without using a springboard. I think it's Chocolate, Vanilla, Rita, Sassini, and Kotri. Kotri is the most annoying one, but I think you can get Kotri. But 5 is not enough for side chapter. I think if you could get 6, you might be able to work that in and do the Rita side chapter deal, but I don't know. Alright, so the last one here is kill a springboard, which, well, as far as I know, the only way to do that is to use a Cocoa Bomb. I don't think you can kill them with Rainbow Boost or Curse Damage, but you definitely can debuff them with those things, so, you know, if that works, then that's crazy. But the restriction here is obtain no items with a bunny in their name. There are 3. Bunny Amulet, Bunny Strike, and Bunny Whirl. The most restrictive one obviously being Bunny Amulet, because that one is given to you as soon as you start Chapter 2. And that basically makes it really hard to progress through the game. So, yeah. I think that probably the easiest one to rule out here is this goal on the left, because of that restriction. If you can't get the Bunny Amulet, there's just no way that you can get into System Interior. There's just no way. So yeah, let's talk about getting into System Interior, actually. Normally, to get into System Interior, the way that you do it is you would talk to Sassini, she would warp you to Riverbank, you would go down to Lab, you would finish Lab, she would warp you back to town, and then once you finish Chapter 2, once you start Chapter 3, you can talk to her at a save point or a healing pad, and then she'll ask you to go into System Interior, at which point it will be unlocked in the computer room, and you can just go into System Interior, and everyone's happy. However, if you never recruit Sassini, for example, or you recruited Sassini and somehow never talked to her in town, which might be hard, but that's beside the point, eventually there's a sequence in postgame where you're supposed to go to System Interior to fix something. Heck, I actually don't remember why you go there, but that happens after you do Forgotten Cave 2 and you defeat Rumi. Normally, in order to get into Forgotten Cave 2, you would have to beat the game, and you'd have to go through Hall of Memories, beat Miriam, and then Forgotten Cave 2 is unlocked. However, you can zip in with Slide Zip, and in order for that to work, you would also need to get into Cocoa Cave 1, Forgotten Cave 1, which, in order to do that, you would have to fight Cocoa. Unless you have Bunny Strike, and then you can do a Bunny Strike zip into Cocoa Cave, and then you could zip into Forgotten Cave 2. Well, that's one way. The other way is that you can wrong warp, which I think is kind of the crux of this puzzle. You can wrong warp into Forgotten Cave 2 from Lab, which I think most people kind of got clued into, so that's cool. So those are kind of the two options, and once you've done Forgotten Cave 2, when you defeat Rumi, even if you did that way early in the story, suddenly it's Chapter 7, and the game is asking you to go to System Interior. And since the game is asking you to go to System Interior, it lets you go to System Interior, regardless of your story progress for any of this other Sasini stuff. So, like, when you're in Chapter 7, you can just walk in the front door of Lab, no problem. Rainbow Maid doesn't spawn, there's no alarms going off. Sasini won't stop you at the computer if you've started her quest. You can just go right on into System Interior. Shara won't spawn in System Interior. All these things. It's like basically the place is really barren. It's kind of spooky, but yeah, you can just waltz right on in. So that's cool. But yeah, even then, if you were to wrong warp into System Interior, that requires getting the lab warp, which requires Chapter 2. And if you were to zip into System Interior, or zip into Forgotten Cave 2, that requires Slide, which requires Lab, which requires Chapter 2, which requires the Bunny Amulet, right? So there's just no way to get into System Interior without the Bunny Amulet. So basically those goals kill each other. Also, kill Springboard and never fight Cocoa are in direct conflict, because in order to kill Springboard, you need a Cocoa Bomb. In order to get a Cocoa Bomb, you need to recruit Cocoa. So, yeah. And then on top of that, defeating 4 Ritas should also be impossible without the Bunny Amulet, for the same reasons, kind of, because you need to get into Forgotten Cave 2. In order to get in Forgotten Cave 2, you need to be in Chapter 2, at least. So yeah, you can basically mark that goal out and not think about it, just because it directly conflicts with too many other goals. So that leaves basically 4 combinations, and as I was kind of mentioning, I think that the Springboard constraint is a lot more restrictive than it seems at first. But also, defeating 4 Ritas is pretty tough, at least by my original thought process, because you need to get into Forgotten Cave 2, and you also need to go to Side Chapter. And as I said earlier, you can only get 5 town members without using a Springboard, and without, like, advancing the plot. So it's complicated, but basically you can try and pair defeat 4 Ritas, never use a Springboard with, you know, any 2 other ones, and you'll run into some kind of problem, either because you need to get to Side Chapter and you can't because you had to, say, recruit Sasini last, or because you can't get Nieve and Nixie without the Springboard, or whatever other reason. It's kind of a mess, and it's very... you have to work it out, and you probably get stuck a few times. I sure did. But honestly, if there's some way to, like, break this and use that goal, because there's, like, some Springboard that you can circumvent or something, I think that would be cool. But what we're gonna do is these 3 on the right. Obtain 3 items with Carrot in the name, visit Assistant, and recruit Nieve and Nixie. And we're gonna do it without visiting town after Sasini warps us to Golden Riverbank. We're gonna recruit Sasini second during Chapter 2. Sorry, recruit Sasini last during Chapter 2. I'm never gonna fight Coco. I'm gonna fight only one Ashery. So yeah, let's just get to it. Apparently the game is, like, not actually running. There we go. Oh, goodness. Sorry, I'm getting a route up here just so I don't, like, horribly mess this up. not too much to do at the start here. I'm gonna grab hammer, I'm gonna grab ribbon. There's really no reason not to get either of those things. They're not constrained in any way. Like, no matter what route you're doing for this puzzle, this is like a safe start. But I'm not gonna fight Coco because I've restrained myself not to. Should I get this health up? When I first did this, I got like low % of all items that I could possibly get, and it was fine, but maybe 1 health up, and we'll just call it that. Move. It's kind of important not to go above 10% items, because Forgotten Cave 2 will become absolutely horrible if you do. I missed. For the record, I don't know boss fights anymore, so none of these boss fights are going to be clean or good or anything. That's alright, it's a puzzle. Okay. Alright, so I'm not gonna be fighting Coco. And I am just gonna go straight to beach. But since I can only fight one Ashery, I don't want to fight the Ashery on beach because she is circumventable, and the one in Riverbank is much less circumventable, so that'll be the one I fight. So yeah, we'll just make our way to beach. Down drill came literally 1 hit too late. I was trying to down drill, or up drill rather, into the bunnies and couldn't. I'm gonna tag this warp. I don't think I need to actually, but whatever, just in case. I will also save my game. Okay, so this is beach skip. We'll see how many tries this takes me. It's not good. Basically, the goal here is to take this transition walking in the opposite direction. That could be good? No. You can kind of just do this without the damage boost, but there's a pretty decent visual cue with like the grass here that if you can stand in the right spot and this duck comes flying into you, you'll get hit right into the correct position. It'll probably take me like 10 to 15 tries. It's not terribly hard, but it's also not easy. Nope, I knew that was bad and I was trying to move to the right. Well, basically the way this works is that transitions are comprised of 2 events. One of them basically tells you this is which map you're going to, and one of them tells you this is which like location on that map you're going to. Kind of. And the way that works is that there's just set locations on each map. They're called, I guess, entrances, if you will, and they're numbered. And so this event just says, okay, you're going to entrance number whatever. But since the event, like, only one of these events is actually like taking you to the next map, and that's the one that tells you which map you're going to. The one that tells you which entrance you're going to when you pass it, it doesn't do anything like immediately. It just sets some number in memory that says, okay, next time you hit one of these map transitions, go to this entrance, right? So what happens is, if these map transitions are not surrounded by the entrance setters, right now, my game is telling me, go to this entrance here in Starting Forest, right? Whatever number this is. I just passed some trigger that said, go to this entrance wherever, and then I, you know, hit the Starting Forest one. Oh, that's bad. This transition doesn't have one of those entrance setters in front of it. It's behind it. Most of them are surrounded, but this one only has it behind it. So you hit the map transition, and then you walk through the thing that tells you where you're going, which entrance you're going to. So, if I hit this map transition and walk the other direction, it never sets my entrance. It never changes it from what this beach trigger is. And it just so happens that that puts you on the other side of the beach. So that's cool. This is not going to work. So that's beach skip explained. If you look at the maps, you can see that actually most map transitions are properly surrounded. Oh, this is just really bad. I'm gonna die. This is why I pick up the health up. I got it. Okay, so here we are. Thank goodness. That wasn't great, but it was probably the hardest part of this entire thing, so fine. There are some other places that you can do weird stuff like that. I think the town transitions aren't properly surrounded exactly. Inside town, that is. I think the ones outside are fine. Okay, so as a reminder, I need to recruit Nieva and Nixie, and I need to visit Sissant, and I need to get some carrot items. Because I can't fight Coco, I can't get Coco Bombs, which means I can't get Super Carrot. We're just gonna take Carrot Shooter out of the equation. It's too late in the game. I might be able to wrong warp there, I guess, but it still leaves 3 other carrot items, which aren't too hard to get. So I can buy the Book of Carrot. Actually, I don't have enough money, so we're not gonna do that yet. Although I suppose I could buy Speed Boost. Why not? Because it's item percent. Whatever. Wishy-washy here, but I'll be getting Carrot Boost, the badge. That one's easy to get, and then I'll be getting Gold Carrot, which does require some, like, jump items, but since I'm going to System Interior, I can just grab double jump, air jump, and that'll be easy enough. So that'll actually be the very end, is I'll just go grab the Gold Carrot. Do I want Whirl? I mean, I want Whirl. I don't think I need it, though. Alright, so right now, my goal is to just go recruit Nieva and Nixie. And I want to do this now because Sissini has to be my last town member. And she also needs to be in Chapter 2, which means that I actually need 2 town members before I can recruit her, and I also need... I really need 3 because I'm going to be going to Chapter 3, but... Am I going to Chapter 3? Why do I need to go to Chapter 3? I don't, do I? Hold on. No, I don't. Totally don't. That changes things a little bit. I can cut something out of this route. I'm doing it on the fly, so hopefully I don't, like, totally screw this up. Well, anyway, so assuming I'm only getting 3 town members, 2 of them have to be Nieve and Nixie, and Sassini has to be last. That makes it pretty easy to decide that I'm doing Nieve and Nixie now. And Nieve and Nixie won't have any impact on, you know, any of this system interior crazy restrictions, any of the Sassini stuff, so I'm just gonna get these guys out of the way. And in fact, we kind of have to do it now, so this fight could have gone loads better. Well, if I had realized I was gonna go around this way, I probably would have got Rabi Slippers first, but that's fine. I don't really know. I could just go through Rita. It doesn't really matter, but whatever. I'm gonna do the mini boss glitch here, because why not? You've never seen this game before, which I'm sure everyone watching me has. That glitch lets you not fight the whole mini boss, and that's pretty much all I need to know. There's good reason for it, but I'm just gonna move on. Swag. Alright. Oh, this is another springboard that's actually kind of irritating to not be able to use. It doesn't actually really super restrict anything, but it's definitely irritating. But this springboard at the base of Aurora Palace that I'm about to use is... Oh wow, there's also a springboard there. You can go around though. I mean, all this springboard stuff was like... Basically, I kind of had the main, like, restrictions more or less in mind, and then, you know, made the other ones to try and seem reasonable, but still not possible. Which is pretty hard, because... I don't know. Making things seem reasonable, and then actually, you know, it's still not being viable. It's like, not so great. The other thing in this puzzle, I don't know, you'll probably notice, but like the goals and restrictions kind of like pair up with each other, like going neighbor-wise. So like there's 2 goals that have to do with the names of items, and one of them is a goal and one of them is a restriction. And there's 2 goals that have to do with recruiting town members, and one of them is a goal and one of them is a restriction. And there's 2 goals that have to do with springboards, and one of them is a goal, and one of them is a restriction. Right? So that was kind of like actually just the overall idea behind this puzzle from the get-go. I wasn't really going to compromise on that, but it was hard to pick like fake goals, you know, and fake restrictions. I don't need that. Why am I going this way? That's a rando habit right there. I guess I'll go down. Wait. I'm stupid. Remember when I said that I shouldn't get speed boost because it's item weight? That was completely stupid because I have to go into the shop anyway. Like, I'm getting the forced speed boost. I should have caught it right at the start. Whatever. It's fine. There's my speed boost. I don't actually quite remember exactly how expensive carrot boost is, but we'll try and upgrade this thing. What a carrot that is. Oh yeah, we can buy it. Okay. I'm unequipping my item here because there's a glitch that makes items in the shop cheaper if they're not equipped. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm just gonna go around this way. I need the Rabi slippers anyway, and if I can skip Rita, I'll do it, I guess. Although, I mean, I guess I have the Victory Poacher anyway. Oh, whatever. Good trade-off. Maybe I should have picked up Water Orb so I could get carrot boost easier. It's quite whatever. Dude, I don't know how to do this with speed 3, what the heck? Get up there. Alright. Alright, so there's my second carrot item, the carrot boost. I'll go out this way. Alright. So we're going up Icy Summit next to recruit the bears. And then I will start doing the crazy stuff, I guess. Well, not immediately. I gotta get to chapter 2 so that I can recruit Sassini, and I need to recruit Sassini. And then things start getting weird. I don't need this autosave. Oh no, actually I do want that. I do want that warp. We'll be coming back here. I'm taking a lot of damage. This place is dangerous. This is the screen where you would be fighting Shadow Rita if you were in chapter 2 or beyond. Actually, I don't know if you have to finish chapter 1 or if you just need to be in chapter 2 or beyond. I don't know the specifics there, because normally it's kind of hard to get out of chapter 1 without finishing it. After that you can kind of skip around, but you really do need slide for like a lot of these chapter skips. But if you were playing in Arena 200%, then absolutely you could just zip right into Forgotten Cave 2 from the beginning of the game. You do it during Prologue, for Pete's sake. Alright, the bears have been recruited. So that's one goal done. And I have not violated any restrictions, so hopefully. I have fought one Ashery, so I've worked towards violating a restriction, I guess. But I won't be fighting anymore. I hope I'm not like forgetting something about getting to chapter 3. I don't know why thought I needed to get to chapter 3. Must be very like mixed up with some other like routes. Whoops, what am I doing? Fun fact, like, I guess, I was originally going to have that defeat 4 Rita goals be defeat some number of aliases. Probably 4. Yeah, 4. And maybe I should have done that instead, because I don't think Illusion Alias is in Hall of Memories. But she definitely is in Forgotten Cave 2. She's not in side chapters, so it kind of all balances back out. Alright, so... here we go. I'm gonna recruit Sassini, my best friend. I definitely should have got speed boost at the beginning. So much faster. Oh yeah, I have slippers. Rare. I guess I could have upgraded Amulet if I wanted to, but it's too late for that now. It's not like horribly too late for it. I could go all the way around and enter town from the other side, but let's not entertain that thought. Okay. So we're going to lab. There's 2 reasons we're going to lab. Well, first I should say, that was the forced warp to Golden Riverbank, so I'm no longer allowed to enter town, ever. Also, that was me recruiting Sassini during Chapter 2, so I am no longer allowed to recruit any more town members. Holy smokes. And also, I still cannot fight Coco, and I still cannot fight Ashery, any more Asheries. Now, if I could go back to town, I could get Bunny Strike, and then, after getting Slide, of course. And then I would be able to get into Forgotten Cave 2. But even if I could go back to town and get Bunny Strike and go into Forgotten Cave 2, there is a Shadow Cocoa and a Shadow Ashery waiting for you at the beginning. So, that's no good, because I'm not allowed to fight any more of those guys. So I'm not going to be zipping into Forgotten Cave 2. I'd mentioned before that my other option is a wrong warp. And the wrong warp is from Lab. So the 2 reasons I'm coming here is to get Slide and also tag the warp here. You have to take Sassini Forced Warp to enter Lab. Yes, that's correct. That is the thing specifically that opens it up. If you're in Chapter 7, you could enter Lab even without that. But, I don't know how you would get to Chapter 7 without Lab. Except for, you know, actually beating the game normally. In normal, very normal conditions, you could just beat the whole game without ever recruiting Sassini. Right, and eventually you would need to go to System Interior 2, and they would let you in, but... yeah. Normally it's that forced warp that opens the place up. You can't, like, recruit Sassini and be in Chapter 2 and just waltz on in. You actually need to watch that cutscene. Yeah, I thought about that too. I don't remember exactly why it doesn't pan out. I think the town... What was the issue with that? I actually don't remember. Okay, so here goes nothing. In order to do the rainbow map, well, in order to do a wrong warp, I should even start there. What you have to do is use a warp while fighting a boss or a mini boss. There's 2 places in the game that you could do that. I think there actually technically might be some others, but they're like weird. Like DLC or whatever, and I also don't know if it's not a normal warp, that's for sure. I know you can hit that weird warp in Ravine 2 while fighting Special Saya, for example. I have no idea what that does, but let's just say there's 2 that matter, which is Rainbow Maid and the Beach Bunnies. Oh god, that is a lot of damage. In order to do Beach Bunnies, you have to come to Beach Bunnies from the left side. Which, there's a few ways to do that. Either you can just come from the left side, no problem, after doing Beach Skip. However, Ashtree is in the way, so you can't come like from a ravine side. There's 2 other ways in. Either you could come from Skytown and drop in, that would work. But we don't have explosives, so we can't do that. The other way is this route here. Just going up through Spectral, around through Volcano, and then up into Beach. I'm probably gonna die if I'm not careful here. Maybe I should have grabbed... This is like the place that the health would have been the most useful. So this is what slide's for, really, is to make this trip possible. It's also what Rabi Slippers are for, really. Because in order to escape from this cave, you need, at like bare minimum, slippers and wall jump. I'm like kind of afraid that I'm gonna get killed by these guys. I'll take it slow. Interestingly enough, you actually, well, as far as I think anyone else knows, you can't make this jump without wall jump. If you just have Rabi Slippers, it's like not enough, which is weird because it's the same number of jumps as like a reverse wall jump and a wall kick, but whatever. I guess wall jump actually really does make you jump slightly higher. Okay, so yes, to do a wrong warp, you fight a mini boss. You take a warp while fighting a mini boss. And it puts you somewhere on the same map that you tried to warp to, but you know what? Hold on, I'm gonna save just in case. It puts you somewhere on the same map that you chose to warp to, but it doesn't put you at the right location. And the location that it puts you is weird, to say the least, but it's more or less the location that you warped from at the height of the warp you warped to. Maybe the min of the 2 warps. It's weird, and I don't think we fully understand it. But there's only so many like options anyway, so you kind of just try them all and you know where they take you, right? So this one takes you here, which is the Rainbow Maid room, which means that you can start the Rainbow Maid fight from the other side and do yet another wrong warp, which is kind of incredible. And I want to go to Starting Forest, and this one puts you in Forgotten Cave 2, past Coco and Ashtree. So I didn't have to fight them, I didn't have to zip in. Now, there is another way, by the way, to do the Rainbow Maid wrong warp, which I didn't see anyone talking about. Everyone was like all crazy about this like chain wrong warp, but you can totally just do a hammer roll zip into that room and do the wrong warp without caring about Beach Bunnies at all. You know, just FYI. eye, please. Yeah, this place is a joke because I'm under 10% items. So that's good. Yes, you could have, but... Oh shoot, I didn't want that. Well, it's fine. Buying hammer roll is a bit of a problem. Yeah, you need chapter 3 to upgrade hammer roll. So that's kind of... A lot of these restrictions kind of work against that. Am I even doing damage right now? Like, what's the point? Yeah, Special Rumi is another really good reason to do this under 10%. I think she changes to normal Rumi at past 10%. And yeah, doing this whole fight with like nothing is hard, so, you know. At least it's long. Yeah, it's like the 0% fight, except I have a hammer, so it's like even more of a joke. Like, you just do a drill and she takes like literally 40,000 damage. She also deals like no damage. I'm not getting her before she does another attack, though. Stop. I keep pressing the amulet button, hoping that it's gonna fill up before she does an attack, and I'm too slow. Well, that could have very easily been done, but... I was not playing like a person who knows how to play this game. Whatever. Yep, you get 4 amulets when you start this fight. Just period. It's kind of awesome. In fact, I think you could have 0 amulets and you would... Wait, I didn't... I didn't kill her! Noise. Making noises. What am I doing? I thought she was just gonna die. That was a big brain moment right there. Alright, so another thing that's kind of worth noting is that this defeating Rumi does not recruit her, so this doesn't like break this Sasini thing. It also doesn't warp you to town, for example. That would be very unfortunate. For all I know, you do actually end up in town at some point during the cutscenes in story mode, but that's why you play in speedrun mode. Alright, so now, system interior is unlocked. When does Rumi get recruited? I think it's weird. I think it depends on whether or not you've fought Miriam yet. I think she has to get recruited with Miriam? Or she can only get recruited after Miriam? I actually don't remember the specifics. I think there are people who know, though. Kind of, yeah, but I think actually you get Miriam right away, like when you fight Miriam. So it's weird. It's like kind of like bears, but only for Rumi and not for Miriam. Yeah, it's weird. It's definitely weird. That's my understanding of it anyway. They might be slightly more complex than that. Alright, where am I going? Not town. Here we go. Icy Summit. To finish the last goal, which is the first goal. And I get my 3 carrot items. Ow. Icy Summit is dangerous. Especially now that it's chapter 7. Everything is like really powerful. I'm also gonna have to fight Shadow-Rita, huh? It's annoying. A really bulky Shadow-Rita. Alright. GG. Gold carrot obtained. Fun fact, if you eat the golden carrot right now, the golden carrot will spawn right in front of you. If you eat the golden carrot right now, the golden carrot will spawn under you. I love it. So yeah, the main crux, I guess, of this puzzle, well, what it ended up being, not that this was like my original like design. My original design was just to have the multi-goal selection with some kind of cyclic thematic business going on. I just kind of picked random things from a hat until I found something that kind of worked. But the main like knowledge requirements for this were wrong warps and kind of their applications and means. And also, like, basically the system interior, like, story triggers and all that kind of stuff. So... hopefully it taught some people some things, hopefully it was fun. There were... some other solutions that came out that involved using Hall of Memories Rita that were pretty cool. Again, they still had to use the wrong warps, because you can wrong warp into Hall of Memories as well. If at lab I were to choose Volcanic Caverns, that would put you pretty early in Hall of Memories. And by the way, you cannot enter Hall of Memories just because it's Chapter 7. You like really need to beat the game to unlock the shaft normally. Like to get through the normal entrance. I didn't tag the Volcanic Warp, so you know it's kinda... oh, boy. Another thing that technically you could do, but it violates one of the sub-technicality rules of the puzzle is, I believe you can zip into Hall of Memories 2 and then zip into Hall of Memories from there. That would be one way to go about it, but that's of course DLC. I actually don't remember if it's possible to zip into Hall of Memories from like the out of bounds area that didn't exist before Hall of Memories 2 was like created. It might have been. It might be. So, I mean, maybe if you're playing on an earlier version or without DLC installed or whatever. No, actually it had to be an earlier version. I'm pretty sure the way it works now is if you go into any of these rooms that have DLC in them, the maps still have the DLC, but you just get like force warped out or something? Something? I don't remember. It's weird. I've had the DLC installed for a while now. I just remember Ravine 2 being like really crazy when people tried to go in there some time ago. It takes you to Volcano Warp. Okay, that's good to know.